But it looks as though money was taken from Parks and Rec, from the Parks and Rec Department, given over to the Deputy Mayor for Economic Development, who then transferred it to this housing agency. Okay? So it's a shell game. But as a result of that, because this agency is sort of autonomous, sort of like WASA, the autonomous
Water and Sewer Authority,
it was able to then let contracts without bidding and without oversight of the council. Now, here you have a situation where this is intentional, okay? This is a design plan to move money around so that at the end of the day, you're going to have no review of these contracts in terms of the contracting and procurement law, no review of these contracts by the D.C. Council. And to whom are these contracts going? Apparently, the entire bulk of the $82 million was being given to a company that is run by a frat brother of the mayor, a crony.
Hey, it's a big fraternity.
Well, that may be so. And then on top of that, but then there's another element too. Forgive me, but it's not just that the council doesn't have review. So not only do you have no review and no conformance with the contracting and procurement law, you have no way of checking to whom these contracts are being given and what's the basis for them. But then on top of that, the amounts of money that are being spent. I just had an email from a woman who was telling me that apparently $750,000 has been allocated to a community garden. A community garden. I mean, what do you need?
$750,000 for a community garden?
Exactly right. Now, this was just an email sent to me, and she asked me to please look into it.
Hanging gardens of...
It's going to have to... Babylon, yes.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to have to be pretty fantastic if that's true. So on all of these bases, what has happened here is extremely worrisome. And we're going to try to get underneath it.
Well, my question for you and the council is that there's been growing irritation with the mayor on a variety of issues, whether it goes back to the smaller issue like the fire truck and the ambulance, which is still not resolved. It seems like the council members get upset over a series of things, but there doesn't seem to be any kind of firm step forward to change the policy. I realize maybe you're still in the exploratory stage of what the hell's going on, and then you decide what you're going to do about it. But, it seems to me you'll take a great deal of time, and we'll have a mayoral election. Do you think Mayor Fenty ought to be reelected next year?
Well, obviously that's going to be a judgment of the people of the District of Columbia, and but I think all of these things have to be on the table. One of the things that confounds us at the same time that all of this is going on, you have an Attorney General, Peter, I am the law Nichols, he announced that he is the law, who, whenever there are issues, that look fishy to us, he has the very next day, a 3-page, single-spaced memorandum completely exonerating anybody of any liability and saying everything is legal. So what we're forced to do as a council, we have limited authority. We have oversight authority so we can have hearings, yes, so we can try to expose things. But then we don't get witnesses and we don't get information. The other thing we have is budget authority. But we allocate money in the budget, and then as soon as it's allocated, what happens is, behind closed doors, money is reprogrammed and shifted around. We can't even keep track of it. So the next thing that we have is we can make referrals to the Inspector General, or we can go to court. Now, this is a state of affairs that's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Do you need some interim authority, like an emergency bill, where we can stop the exercise of contracts, or is that getting in too much of the mayor's job?
Well, we're going to have to explore some of these things. We are exploring the contracts that we've just talked about to see whether they are ultra vires, which is to say beyond the authority of that agency to have entered into under the law. But then again, I would expect, forgive me, but, perhaps this won't happen, but I would expect if that's really where we come out, then we'll have an opinion by the Attorney General saying, oh, no, it was perfectly fine. And there again, we'd be stuck going to court to sue our own government to do the right thing.